what if Luffy, Ace, and Sabo were on one crew? So personally, I think they would do poorly in Alabasta. I would say because of Chopper, because if they don't meet Chopper, a lot happens.
Sabo was nearly killed at 10 years old. Ace left when he was 17, and Luffy started his own pirate adventure 3 years later, which left
3 years later.
Brothers
Let's skip a little bit.
until much later in the story. But what if these three ridiculously strong kids had somehow stuck together and formed one of the most exciting pirate crews ever?
If you really think of
what would have happened if Ace, Sabo, and Luffy had formed their own pirate crew? And well, of course, everything.
Well, I'd say like, do you guys think they'll still meet Zoro? I think so. Some spoilers, I'm fine with that. But if they still meet Zoro, that's one stacked crew. Imagine about that. That is one stacked crew. I don't see how they lose a fight, to be honest. Like, I don't see it.
A kingdom where Ace, Sabo, and Luffy all grew up together. And our version of the story kicks off the moment where the royals of this island are about to burn this massive heap of trash town to get rid of all the poor people, to not leave a, bad impression on the celestial dragons who are coming to visit.
I hate celestial dragons so much.
That this is where
So much.
Luffy were nearly killed by these thugs here. And after this event, Sabo was so disgusted by his wealthy family that he just wanted to get the hell out of there. And as you might remember, originally he set out in this little boat right here and got absolutely...
Wait. Okay, now that's a big boat. What? Why did I go so far back? Look at this boat real quick. That's his boat? And there is this warship. That is insane. This is like Allen Iverson compared to Shaq. On steroids. Like, that's insane.
This celestial dragon ship. But for our scenario, let's imagine that Luffy and Ace somehow managed to stop Sabo from leaving the islands. Maybe they kidnap him from his parents and fake his death, or even intercept him right before he's about to leave the island. And so from here on out, they just continue their lives as they originally had ever since Luffy joined their trio. They live up in the mountains, training and growing
the mountain boys
until the day that they are actually ready to begin their pirate adventure. And that day comes 7 years later. Ace and Sabo are now both 17, while Luffy is still only 14. So yeah, Luffy's going to set out way sooner than he did in the original story, and while you might be saying that he must absolutely wait until he's 17, I just don't see Ace and Sabo waiting around until they're 20.
That's fair, yeah. That's
so
fair.
In order for these three to stay together, they have to leave right now. This leads them to buy a ship with all the treasure that they've stolen so far, and they finally set out.
The trio of thugs.
Which,
send him to the gallows.
Almost drowned right away when he first started his own journey. This could quickly end in disaster. However, thankfully, Sabo always had a little bit of an interest in navigation, which helps them to at least survive, let's give them 1 day at sea. But hold on tight, because there are some major problems coming up very soon. But the first...
I just thought about it. Wait, he didn't consume the fruit yet. Wait, what? I just thought about that. Chat. If he doesn't consume the fruit, then he's done.
To head to a nearby island, and Ace wants to track down this mysterious bounty hunter that he has heard so much about. But with all three pulling the sails in different directions all the time, they snap the mast and their ship is hopelessly broken right from the start. Well, that lasted only a short time. The three drift helplessly until they crash land on this mysterious island right here. However, before we can get into the game-changing events on this first island, let's get back to when these three were kids, because back in chapter 585, there is a super important moment here that we must understand to see how this crew will turn out in the future. Because in this chapter, they basically explain what each of
see ya, Senpai-chan. See ya.
Just wants to be free from the oppression of his parents. On the other hand, Ace simply wants people to know his name and recognize him for who he is. Remember, he's still dealing with a lot of shame and guilt of being the son of the former pirate king. And Luffy, shares his own secret dream.
That's crazy. How are you the son of the pirate king? Getting executed like that? Or even get captured by a man named Blackbeard. If I was Ace, you have a lot of you have like a crazy reputation on the line, and if you're about to lose a Blackbeard, just run away. Like, you can fly, get your fire, just run away. There's no shame. There's no need to fight a man with a black hole or darkness powers. Just run away get stronger, then you run your ones again. You know, why get captured in the first place? Makes zero sense to me. I'm here to take cheeks. Okay.
Not becoming the king of pirates, but
I know, but he got executed because he wanted to get executed. To make a message.
Probably to throw a giant party
Or to
something like
pave
that.
a
However,
path
Ace and
to
Sabo
other
do think
pirates.
it's hilarious. But then we get to their first real point of conflict and one of the reasons that they never made a crew in the first place in the original version. And that's because, of course, they all basically assumed that they would, of course, be the captain of their own ship and the others would join their crew. But none of the three obviously wanted that, so they had originally decided to meet up again once they were all strong pirates. And so fast forward again to their current situation, and the three are now shipwrecked on this island, which by the way is from the Ace novel, big recommendation if you haven't read that, and they meet this crusty fellow called Masked Deuce. Now Deuce was also shipwrecked on the island,
Deuce.
and they're basically stuck and starving until Ace, just like in the original
Oh, the
finds
Titanic.
this random mysterious looking
Oh.
very hungry Deuce nearly kills Ace to get that fruit, but after Ace takes this first bite, he shares the rest with everyone else. And just like originally, this of course gives Ace his fire powers, and now with his new abilities and Luffy's devil fruit powers, they're able to make a very decent raft to help them get off the island, and Deuce of course comes along as the first new member of that crew. And
okay, so wait, hold up. Let's backtrack a little bit, okay? Rewind time a tad bit. So, if I remember, I think I remember properly or correctly. If multiple people eat a devil fruit, you just die. How is he still alive? No? What do you mean no? I thought it was multiple, if multiple people, like, they can't eat the... I was speaking too fast. I thought that you can't eat, like, multiple, like, bites off a fruit. Oh, I had it mixed. Okay, I see.
he's not just some random
I had
guy.
it slightly mixed
Comes
up.
from a medical family, so he will serve as the crew's doctor. Oh, but wait, aren't we forgetting something? I mean, a new crew also needs a name. So at this point, they decide to call themselves
Sure has.
the Sake Cup Pirates, based on the sake cups that represent their bond as brothers.
Okay.
And so now their 4-member crew is going to need a new ship as well. So whatever island
Or
they
just
find
sake, the
next,
sake
they manage
pirates.
to steal a boat and continue on their journey.
Or the
However, instead of
triplet
heading
pirates.
straight for the Grand Line, they actually decide
The
to
Step
be
Bro
smart for
pirates.
once and spend some more time gaining experience in the East Blue and looking for other members. Of course, they still don't have an official captain yet, but they surprisingly decide on some sort of democratic system of voting on where to go next.
Alright. Out of these three, who do you think would be the best captain? Personally, I don't see Luffy as a henchman. Ace was already used to being a henchman for Whitebeard. I don't know about Sabo, to be honest. I don't know that much about him. Donut. Sabo. The goofy hat pirate. Y'all saying Sabo? Okay. Alright. Sabo it is.
Which basically just leads to them traveling around for a while, defeating other pirate crews and making a name for themselves. And while Luffy himself is younger and weaker than he was when he first set out in the story, this is more than made up for by having the powerful Ace and Sabo by his sides. Plus, they have spent all those years continuing to train together, all three of them, so I think this version of Luffy might actually be even stronger than normal Luffy at age 14. And so during
I can see that makes sense. I was about to pause.
Blue, they actually meet and recruit Usopp. Now, Usopp
I was hoping that wasn't the case. I was praying in the back of my mind, please don't meet Usopp and don't recruit this bum, please. And they did it. That's a letdown. Bruh, this long-nosed freak, he doesn't do anything. He accomplishes nothing. The GOAT? Nah, far from it.
is also younger, but
Bro, he's scamming those
conflict on his island isn't even happening yet, so there's really no one to defeat here. Still, Usopp and Luffy get along really well, so that Luffy invites him to join, and Usopp accepts. However, they don't get the going merry, of course, since they never actually saved Usopp Village. In fact, it's not looking that great for his village, but there's actually a very similar circumstance with Sanji. Because after the Sake Cup pirates come to this floating restaurant to recruit a cook, let's just say they somehow convince Sanji to
that would make sense too, yeah.
Maybe Zeph once again kicks him out, or he decides to follow his dreams by himself to find the All Blue. On the other,
like, what kind of, I don't want to know this is dreams, right? But I get you're a chef. You're gonna find a giant or a mythical fish. But what's after that? After you catch your fish, you just want to cook it. You're gonna kill it and cook it. Like, what's the point? That's like, at least, because I'm gonna compare it to Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. At least he wants to catch them all, right? But with Sanji, there's just one fish. Oh, I was thinking the all blue, just like an all blue fish, or like a giant like blue whale. Also, I was thinking like this entire time.
On the other hand, Nami joining is a little bit more of an issue here, because remember that Nami originally only joined Luffy to steal his money, and then after
bro, I'm gonna get
flamed, she actually wants to become part of the crew. However,
bro, it's been a long time.
The Sake pirates definitely wouldn't encounter this clown pirate yet, because he would not have invaded Orange Town until years later. In other words, no initial encounter with Nami. However,
thank God. Wait, no, we need Nami. That's baddie number 1. Wait, you have to pick up Nami. Oh, that's a L. That's a massive L.
To Nami's islands, and while Ace would probably not want to get involved with the fishmen, Sabo and Luffy would never stand for the people of the island being enslaved by Arlong. And so in their first major fight, the 3 of them together beat down the notorious fishmen and save the people of the village. This leads Nami to officially join the crew, and while Sabo
so they do pick her up. Okay, nice.
Nami is literally going to be the greatest navigator in the story, so he can't take a backseat to our orange-haired navigating goddess. Okay, so let's check.
Okay,
Usopp,
I might be dumb bad.
Nami,
That's crazy.
Nami, and wait, aren't we missing someone? Now remember that we're still about 2.5 years before the start of the original story, so Zoro would definitely not have been captured at Shelter.
No.
About bounty hunting, which in other words means it is very likely that the green-haired swordsman would cross paths with the Sake Cup pirates, and I think that they would actually develop some sort of respectful rivalry over the next months, where basically Zoro keeps coming after them but is beaten down each time by
almost like Smoker. Yeah, pretty much.
one of the brothers. And then
Pretty-
at the last
pretty much
moment,
how I go.
before the Sake Cup pirates head to the Grand Line, he then tries to beat them one last time. Of course, he would fail. After all, it's all 3 of them, but the crew would then invite him to join them on their adventure.
Smoker team is
and
crazy.
he would agree. I mean, what better way to become the world's strongest swordsman, right? So, bam, the gang is all here with a few extras, and let's continue forward to all of the unbelievable.
Bro, that's so stacked. Imagine a Straw Hats, but with Sabo and Ace. That is beyond OP. How are they gonna lose? Crocodile's getting slammed. What's after that? Enel's getting slammed. Who else is after that? Foxy Pirates dropping them off low key because slow beam. Gecko Moira cooking them. No, I'm kidding. Good one's getting washed. Like, really think about it. They're OP. Kaido solos? Bro, stop the cat. If actually, I can't. Nothing. I can't say
that are
that.
gonna come up in the Grand Line, and the
Like, if Ace didn't die and he awakened his double fruit, yo, that'd be insane though. Imagine a blue Ace. Come on, man. Hi, Jasper. Foxy getting washed. Stop the cap.
Now again, Luffy and the other
Foxy
original
solos.
Pirates are still about 2.5 years younger than they were before, but
Uh-huh.
that also means that events cannot play out just like they did in the original story.
That's
in
true.
Other words, this won't just be the speedrun version of the Grand Line that Luffy and Co are doing in the original story, as the crew will take more time and take it more slowly, going from island to island and exploring a little bit.
Yes, that makes sense. However, yes, it will take longer because there's gonna be like going to every single island, like skipping islands. But it'll be easier because not anybody will be like a challenge for that. They have a Lugia on their team, right? So I mean, everybody they fight would be like get washed. They would get stomped, like, for the most part.
And of
Like, what
course,
can he
things
do?
are going to be much different. For example, Alabasta would not be having its civil war quite yet, so we will basically just skip that entire arc, which means
Oh
for now.
no! I'm not gonna lie. If this was One Piece, I wouldn't watch it personally. No, Robin is criminal. Imagine watching One Piece with no Robin. It can't be the same show.
Mass Deuce is the crew's.
I'd rather watch the live action.
Don't go looking for another one, so we do not get.
Oh, Chopper! The Tony Chopper song couldn't exist either.
And before we go any further, there's actually still one super important thing that we haven't yet discussed.
Dang, this is a L.
The power dynamics of that crew. You see, after 6 months in the East Blue, Sabo, Ace, and Luffy
version
have
of One
all gotten much stronger, and especially Ace with his Logia powers can easily take on nearly anyone that they meet in this part of the world. And at least for now, Luffy would very likely still be the weakest of the three brothers, but that gap is starting to close pretty rapidly.
Here,
And at this point, the
Secondo.
crew would probably still want to go up to Skypiea, so that whole arc continues pretty
Skypiea would be
slowly. And
interesting.
if I'm not mistaken, the Lightning Fruit user NL should already be oppressing the Skypieans.
Yeah, he should be, yeah.
And while the others aren't too sure about getting involved, Luffy absolutely refuses to leave without freeing the people from this false god. The rest
Correct.
of the crew actually begrudgingly supports this decision, and so they start the battle. Luffy and Ace can certainly fight
Oh.
with Enel with their rubber and Logia powers, and I think Sabo would be smart enough to find some sort of sea stone or dial to be able to contribute to the fight as well, and eventually
Yeah.
they manage to take down the Lightning Man, which would also basically ruin his plans to go to the moon, since
Ace alone could stop him from going to the moon. All he do is just burn down his ship. You burn down the ship, what is he going to do? Like, he's going to get stopped. I don't think Ace could beat Enel, because how do you burn lightning? And how do you lightning fire? That doesn't even make sense. So I mean, it'd still be like Luffy's job to like find a oh my god, my speech impediment, to do a finishing blow. So maybe they could like work something out. Same like he said with Sabo. Sabo could figure something out and stop him. I mean,
his arc Maxime was not yet completed. Although they would not be able to decipher the
oh, it hasn't. You're right.
because Robin is not
Robin's
with them
not-
at this time.
okay.
And now with this country
Context
freed, and
winning.
after they of course have a massive party, the crew can now continue back.
I
down
literally
the ocean
just finished
with one
Sabuti,
major change
and I
in
just met
the
Boa
structure.
as well.
Because
That's
I
a lot of
do feel like
context.
by this point,
That's a
the
lot of
crew might
context.
Be ready to accept Luffy as the actual captain. After all, he is the most headstrong and determined to help others. He has recruited most people, plus both Ace and Sabo eventually joined other crews, those being the Emperor Whitebeard for Ace and the Revolutionary Army for Sabo, so I don't really think that it's that much of a stretch to think that they would both eventually be okay with Luffy being the captain, especially of course because Luffy's dream to become Pirate King
And
is
everything would just
goal that
proceed, but like
unites
time is like
everyone else's dream as
sped
well.
up.
Ace has
Or like
already
it's
made a
slowed
pretty good name for
story-wise.
himself and has people who love him. Sabo is free and helps free oppressed countries, so really Luffy is the only one driving everyone forward here, and this doesn't mean that Luffy will make every single decision from here on out, because he doesn't even do that with the current crew, but
Yeah,
he still
that's
becomes
fair.
the captain. And this is a super important decision that will be tested right away, because after the rigorous journey to reach the Sky Islands,
Rigorous.
the Sake Cup cruise ship is in very bad shape. Now,
True.
remember that this
Following
is
all
not
the Sky-
ordinary, since they did not get her from Usopp's hometown, but still I think the crew would no doubt have some sort of attachment to that current ship. And so this could be a case where the crew actually might be split again on buying a new ship or repairing their current one, but just like in the original story, I think Luffy would probably see the need to buy a new
Oh
ship.
yeah. Whenever I first saw this, I'm like, bro, Usopp, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Get over it. Get a new ship. He was bugging.
And on top of that, we wouldn't get the whole Usopp leaving drama, since he isn't as attached to this particular ship. So,
Yeah.
with a new one and probably a new shipwright crewmate, the crew depart from Saba Odi. Wait, what?
Sabuti?
what about Frankie?
No,
What
please.
about Ennis Lobby? Well, at this point,
It would happen because of Robin.
Have Robin, so there would be no
Right.
way for these government secret agents to blackmail them. And the whole saga was the reason that the crew befriended Frankie in the first place, so if none of that happened, then they wouldn't be able to have Frankie build the Thousand Sunny or recruit him into the crew. But they would still need a shipwright, so maybe they recruited this guy, Polly, who is constantly running from gambling debt.
Nah, the rope fruit, man? Ain't no way. I don't want this. If I was Luffy, I'm like, I don't want this above my ship. Because, I wouldn't. Absolutely not. Like, come on, bruh.
Anyways, so wow, this is shaping up to be a pretty incredible crew. But if you want to know the saddest thing about this crew,
yeah,
no
sure.
Frankie means that we will never have the
No. Mugiwara Ghost. He definitely has a fruit. There's no way. I brought this up so many times. Where is he getting the rope from? Like, he used like a massive net of like ropes. He gets more and more ropes out of nowhere. Like, what is stuff like in his crack? Like, where do you get all that rope from? Like, in his jacket. Like, there's no way he has enough rope for that. It makes 0 sense. Out of his sleeves? Bro. This is... It's definitely like a rope fruit. I refuse to believe otherwise. I refuse. Polly. I'm talking about Polly.
The Pirate Ducking 6, but you can still use your most overpowered combo attack to smash that subscribe button below this video. And
oh, absolutely. If you're new to the channel, make sure to drop a subscribe. A homie's I'm going through right now. I'm not trying to guilt trick or any of that. But I think you drop us up.
Without Frankie, there's much more insane things to come for this headstrong crew. Now from here on, they continue to sail around before eventually getting sucked into the zombie-infested thriller bark, where they still meet and recruit Brooke because
Luffy man
wanted a musician. So really no major changes here, and after curb stomping the Shadow Man, the group then very
curb stomp is crazy.
Onto Sabo. And it is right
Sabooty.
here where we're going to dive into the truly game-changing alterations to the story. Because at Sabo, everything is going to go smoothly. Part is that nothing crazy happens.
But the VODs are up
would probably still
temporarily because copyright.
Then introduce them to the former right hand of the Pirate King, Silva's Rayleigh. And
Rayleigh's
would
OP.
be super excited to meet them all after learning about them from Shanks, and he immediately agrees to coat their ship so they can travel under the Grand Line towards Fishman Islands. And with his 2 older brothers watching over him, Luffy stays out of trouble. In fact, Rayleigh even gives the crew a hardcore crash course training camp, which we'll be talking about in just a moment. And then, after just a few days, they dive underwater towards Fishman Island.
Wait, they don't meet Boa. Oh. Wait, they don't have to go to Impel Down or Marineford either. Interesting.
So if you're following
That's
along,
interesting.
that means no 2-year time skip, which is of course a huge change to the story that is going to have massive consequences for the next part of this version.
They're about to die in Wano.
We're skipping all of the Summit War saga, so no
Or is it Vegapunk?
Down or even Marineford, because this time the Donut Man is still safe and sound.
What did you just say?
Down or
I'm surprised Zoro didn't finish this guy off. Like, he should be dead. Zoro definitely killed him. But anyways.
Even Marineford, because this time the Donut Man.
Donut Man. Listen, Mr. O'Hara, I respect you as a man. Maybe a father as well. A strong individual. Donut Man is crazy. He does not deserve that level of disrespect. That is insane.
Still safe and sound, and with Luffy and Sabo, which of course makes this the perfect time to talk about the world government, because at this time,
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Are starting to get pretty famous. Luffy, Sabo, and even Zoro would probably all be part of the worst generation of upcoming pirates, but the world government would not care about them nearly as much as they hated the Straw Hats in the original story. That's because there was no fiasco in Alabasta,
with the warlords,
no shooting down the flag in his lobby, no stealing Robin from the ZP9, or punching a Celestial.
It was so cared because he took down 2 warlords. In this time period, it would be just 1 warlord, and that would be Gekko Moira. Okay, that still should be enough to hey, that they're pretty strong. You should probably watch out for them.
dragon. So to the world government, this is just another group of pretty annoying pirates,
Maybe.
although they would probably still be keeping a close eye on Luffy and Ace because of their lineage. And since there's no Marineford, that means Luffy didn't spend all that time training during the time skip. However, as I just mentioned, they did get a crash course training with Rayleigh right before they left for Fishman Islands, where the Dark King himself
Probably learned
at
about
least
haki.
showed them the basic idea
Yeah.
of haki. And so, of course, characters like Sabo, Sanji, or Zoro who don't have devil fruits will be especially excited to finally learn haki so that they can actually continue to be able to fight strong devil fruit users.
Haki?
Now, at this point, the Sakika pirates are a pretty fearsome group. They sailed through Fishman Island and the early parts of the New World without too much trouble, I'd say.
Wano,
Everything
Wano.
changes when they encounter the Whitebeard pirates on some random islands. Which is, of course, a mind-blowing event for this crew because up until now, they've never faced off against any of the top-tier fighters of the world.
What? What do you mean they haven't? Alright, hear me out. I'm pretty sure Gecko Moira is really strong, right? Because what I've seen in Thriller Bark, that man's Shadow Fruit's OP. It's OP. So technically speaking, that's Cap. And he has to be like a top fighter. And remember, he talked about fighting Kaido when he was younger or something like that. But Kaido like diffed him hard, like badly. But he still fought Kaido. And that's a massive feat. Hey, you can't be weak fighting Kaido, I'm just saying, like, come on. Come on, man. He fell off. Hey, that's like saying you scored like 3 points on Michael Jordan in a game of 21. That's still impressive, okay? I'm just saying. It makes
Of course,
sense.
the Sakika pirates get beaten down pretty badly by the Emperor's crew. And now I could imagine that just like in the original story, Whitebeard might invite all of them to join his crew. And while Ace originally did actually accept this offer, I don't think that Luffy would ever agree to
He
work
wouldn't,
with
no.
anyone else. So
Bro, he is
Whitebeard
tall.
could either kill them
He's almost
here,
taller than
or
me.
the much more likely case, I think, is that he would let them go because he sees something special in Luffy and the crew, which is a very lucky break because not everyone survives an encounter with an Emperor's crew. And so some more time passes as they sail around the New World, getting stronger. They're now exploring new islands, fighting strong opponents, and growing
Origashima.
their own powers. And Luffy would probably have mastered at least Gear 2nd and 3rd at this stage, maybe even 4
Hey.
if he practiced his haki enough. And so now at this point, 1 year has passed in the New World, and we're roughly 1 year behind the original storyline. And eventually, we come to one of the most dangerous places in the New
Origashima.
World, Wano, where
Wano.
the Sakika pirates are in for their next rude awakening. Because as they travel up the waterfall, the crew gets separated just like in the original story. Now, remember, we're still too early in the timeline for this to play out like normal Wano. The samurai, for example, who were sent forward in time have not yet arrived, but the country is still being dominated by Kaido. And Luffy,
Big ol'
with
Kaido.
Luffy, he would of course want to save the oppressed people there. And so just like in
They're
the
all gonna
original story,
die.
on his own eventually leads to a major smackdown by Kaido, and Luffy is thrown in jail once again. At this same time,
Oh, Useless Kid was
Sabo, Ace,
there.
and the rest of the crew have come to Onigashima.
Wait, I mean Goated Kid,
where
not
they
useless.
encounter Kaido's child Yamato and quickly become friends. Yamato, despite
Oh, pause it real quick. Pause it real quick. So I realize why people call people I realize why people call Kid useless. And that's what the fact because when I first met him in Sabuti, this dude was making like these metal arms. And that's like all he did. I'm like, okay. You can do anything with those arms? Like you're just gonna like make giant metal arms. Like, what's the point? Like it just gets diffed anyways. Like why? Like it's so pointless. Like why? Like all you can do is make some metal arms. Come on, bro.
would of course
Even Iron Man can do that.
and together they head to save Luffy from
Yo, anime
prison.
character.
So we can argue a little bit about the battle here and if the crew would actually be able to defeat this funky dinosaur, but eventually the crew manages to save Luffy as well as this samurai fishman Kawamatsu. Plus this grandpa here who teaches Luffy about Ryo, which ultimately leads to Ace freeing Yamato from her shackles. Now Luffy's of course fired up to make another attempt at the boss, but Kawamatsu, who was one of the legendary retainers of Odin, tells them that the time to
Odin's
Wano
goat
has not yet arrived. And so instead, he asks them to come back in 3 years to help liberate Wano from Kaido's tyranny.
3. Oh, that's probably
And
where it takes
despite
time, man.
Luffy really wanting to help right now, especially with Tama and so on and so forth, the crew departs and now things become really interesting because with Yamato on board, we have a top-tier fighter on the crew who can now finally teach everyone about Conquerors and advanced forms of Haki.
That is like the most stat crew of all time. Aside from the crew, that was, I think it was the, wait, hear me out, I'm gonna look at the chat. I think the strongest crew of all time was with Kaido, Rocks, Big Mom, Roger. Right? I'm right, right? I have to be right. Please say I'm right. I'm positive that's right. Yes? Cap? What do you mean Cap? No? What? Yes? Okay. Like, that's the OP squad. But however, this one has Luffy, Ace, Sabo, Sanji, Zoro, and the furry chick. That's, yo, that's about 6 members. Like, that's a lot of people. That is a lot of people. And Polly. Don't say and Polly. No, stop the cap.
Which brings us to another super
Shiki?
important
Who is
stretch of the
Shiki?
story. Now, because we skipped over much of the normal New World Islands, but I do think one arc that was incredibly important
Is that the golden hair
arc of
dude?
the Minks, which is Zou. Now, Kawamatsu should know about Zou since the Kozuki and the Minks are actually allies. So before separating, Kawamatsu gives them a Vivre card that will help them find the massive elephant Sonisha. As a result, this leads the Sakika pirates to finally climb up the elephant, where they then make friends with the animal
I
Minks.
miss Robin,
However,
man.
the major question here is, do the Minks show Luffy and the crew the poneglyphs? I mean, you could argue that they would probably not, since there is no one from the Kozuki clan with the crew right now. Plus, they wouldn't have just saved the entire tribe. I mean, who knows? Maybe they have a letter from Kawamatsu who tells the Mink leaders to show them the poneglyphs, but even if they do get to see that road poneglyph there and learn all about the secret stones, they definitely can't read it yet. And honestly, I think it's just more reasonable that they don't get to see the poneglyphs here. Still, it would be one step closer to Luffy's dream of becoming the Pirate King. They could even take on a new crewmate like Pedro, who wanted to serve as Pirate King, or
Huh? Wait, how is there another cheetah guy? Look at this.
they could even take on
I think I saw this before, and I was like, how is there 2 cheetah people? Like, the one was Rob Coochie, and then there's this guy. How is that possible? That's not a fruit. What? Huh? How is that not a fruit? Bro, he's like a walking, cheetah. He's a mink? Bro, that sounds racist. Why you keep saying mink? That's a, oh. Oh, okay. I see.
on a new crewmate like Pedro, who wanted to serve the next pirate.
He's an animal
King,
person?
Or Carrot might sneak aboard even if she wasn't invited. Now, after Zou, they continue sailing through the new world and practicing the advanced forms of Haki. At this
That's a
point, we would say
jaguar?
that Luffy, Sabo, and Ace
I feel like all the same thing.
Zoro are definitely above Warlord
But different
power
region?
level, so they can pretty easily defeat people as the Sandford user Crocodile and the Stringford user
Doflamingo.
which will be important in just a few moments. However, they are
fell
still
asleep.
undermatched against any of the Yonko, and when they next encounter Whitebeard, they are once again defeated by the world's strongest man and his crew. However,
That's
at this
tough.
point, Whitebeard is getting older and sick, and the battle is much closer than it was the first time around. And so, with Whitebeard very impressed by how much the Sake Cup crew has grown in such a short time, I think they would probably become allies and could even exchange Vivre cards. And around this time, they could also, of course, find Elbaf, where Shanks could be waiting.
Elbaf?
I still don't think Shanks would be quite ready to acknowledge Luffy yet. And so they might just end up skipping this island for now, but one island that they would definitely have to go to is Roadstar. Now, in case you forgot, Roadstar or
Roadstar
is the last island officially of the Grand Line, and it's originally where pirates are supposed to learn about the poneglyphs. And even though the Sake Cup pirates might have already learned about them from Zou, this would be a great place to stop because it would help them learn more about the mysterious stones. And although Luffy does have the voice of all things, it is not quite the same as someone who can
The what? The voice of all things? Was that even, he can hear it in like colors or something? What is the point? Okay.
And this might actually set them on a path to cross the Red Line and sail the entire Grand Line once again to find the poneglyphs and someone who can read them, just like Roger did back in his days. Although
Roger's such a hot man.
Might not be that happy that they're literally following in his father's footsteps. Regardless, this now very overpowered crew goes all the way back to Reverse Mountain and starts the journey once again. And this time, they liberate the islands that they skipped in the past. For example,
Alabasta
Crocodile would already have taken control of Alabasta, and the Civil War might already be over. But Luffy, Ace, and Sabo could come in
one shot every. Yo, that's broken. Like, if you really think about it, oh my goodness gracious. That okay. Let's. Oh boy. That caught me so. Okay. So he gets start like that's like an in-game character going back to like level 1. And starts to one-shotting everybody, like every single level, until you get all the way back up to the top again. Like, bruh, that's just not fair.
Time for it
caught me off guard. That does not count.
Could also try to blackmail her once again, but this might be a good thing actually because the crew would have no trouble smacking down the secret agents.
Rob Kuchi get folded.
It just feels good to see the crew dealing some punishment after they took such a beating in the original story.
Yeah.
So now with Robin back on board and fully trusting the crew, they can return to the New World, saving islands and finding more poneglyphs. And this would probably be how their journey continues for a little bit more. The crew might even establish a home base island somewhere in the New World, but then something would happen that shakes the entire pirate world.
What?
Because Blackbeard betrays Whitebeard and steals the Darkness Logia. And once again, just like in the original, this single event is going to set off a crazy chain reaction that massively affects the entire story. Blackbeard could still become a warlord, he could still break into Impel Down and gather a stupidly powerful crew and go around collecting devil fruits. And then he could eventually return to challenge Whitebeard in a straight-up war, which is actually not Blackbeard's style, but with Whitebeard sick and already dying,
I'm not gonna lie,
he would...
if Blackbeard tries that, he's getting folded badly. Like, they have Rio, or is it Ryu? Rio? They have their, you know, all their hotkeys and stuff like that. They're at their in-game strengths. He's getting destroyed. Like, there is nothing he can do. He's getting folded, like, in a heartbeat. I think it's like
certainly try to kill Whitebeard and then actually take his legendary devil fruit. However, remember that at this point, the Sake Cup crew and Whitebeard's crew were basically allies, and when the crew notices Whitebeard's Weaver card disintegrating, they would do everything in their power to save him. However, they would most likely be too late at this point, but this would definitely still set up the fated showdown between Blackbeard and Luffy. And of course, once again, there are tons of ways that this battle could possibly go. I mean, Blackbeard is so sneaky that he could still trick Luffy somehow and defeat the entire crew. But the Sake Cup pirates are so insanely powerful at this point.
No. What you wanted to say was, but Luffy's the main character, so he's not going to lose. Everybody knows that. Like, come on, man. You think the main character can lose to a man like Blackbeard? No. Like, if... Okay, this might be a crazy take. If you want to really think about it, he's just a... Actually, I'm not going to say that. You know, I don't want to get flamed. I'm good. Actually, I'm going to say it. What he can do is impressive. However, his fruit is not stronger than Moria's fruit. But what separates the two is Blackbeard's a better fighter. He knows how to use his ability better. And he knows what he's doing. And he's not cocky. So. That's
might
my
not
take.
really matter. Sabo and
It's
Ace
not that
are
bad.
nearly as strong
I was
as
thinking about
Luffy,
it's not that bad.
Luffy,
It's not that bad. It's not
plus
bad.
with Yamato, Zoro, and Sanji, I feel like there's just no way that they could all lose to the Darkness Logia fruit user who barely just got his second Devil Fruit and barely got his crew together. However, I do think it would be very fitting that during this battle, Luffy finally awakens his mythical Sun God Nika fruit, because this would
What?
undoubtedly help him. Luffy finally awakens his mythical Sun God Nika fruit because
Okay. What are you on? It makes sense. What do you mean? You can't tell me that doesn't make sense. He can make it an undead army. He can use shadow so he can't get hit. Like if he goes like let's say someone tries to attack him, he can switch places with him and his shadow, not get hit. If he had a brain in his head, he would be OP. It makes sense. It does. I don't know why he dropped the N-word. I know it's like the Nika.
because this would undoubtedly
come on,
help him
man.
defeat Blackbeards, and together with his brothers,
I know
they would
disables, but like they have
Which
hockey.
means, of
They don't
course,
need
that
devil
after
fruits.
this battle, the Sake Cup crew would be on a whole different level. I mean, some of the Whitebeard pirates might join, Luffy would surely become a new emperor, and the only thing stopping them from finding the One Piece would be the last few road poneglyphs and the Yonko. However, stop. One opponent that we haven't really mentioned that much in this storyline is the world government. In fact, they might see Luffy as so much of a threat after awakening his devil fruit that they slap him with a bounty way higher than anything the world has
400 billion.
Their goal would be to make Luffy the #1 target of every marine, bounty hunter, and pirate in the entire world, which is just an absurdly insane target to have painted on your back. In fact, turning it all up to 11, I actually might have figured out exactly how having an insane 100...
Okay. I have this one thing real quick. Please don't start barking, please. Let me cook Bentley, please, okay? Let me cook, alright? If your bounty is that high and that strong, what's the point? What's the point of a bounty in the first place? It's not like anybody's going to take that bounty. It seems pointless. If your bounty is 100 billion, nobody's going to stop you. And that's a fact. So what's the point? There's no point.